Hi guys and welcome back. Now in this video we're going to be making a bench seat or banquette seat, I think it's called. I'm not too sure, I've only found that out recently. But yeah, basically like a dining bench seat, lift up with storage underneath it. It will end up looking like this. And we're going to start off by building up the framework, which is going to look like this. Now this will make a lot more sense once I've actually start fitting this, but basically I'm going to build it in my workshop just purely because it gives me less time in the customer's house. I can build it all here and take it there. If you're following along at home, I suggest you build this in the place that it's going to be situated, because it's going to make life a hell of a lot easier for you. This will be a bit of a tutorial. Well, no, it will be a tutorial actually, sorry, I should say. So yeah, sit down, get comfy and follow along. Let's get this framework built first. So we're going to be starting off this the way we start all our projects, and that's by cutting up a load of timber. So for this we're just using 3x2 CLS, the cheap and cheerful stuff that you can get out Wix or B&Q. Looks like I'm getting a lot of waste out of this, but we're actually not, because the offcuts that we're going to get out are going to create the upright sections. Okay, so here's all of our components all cut up here. I tell a lie, I actually need 2 more of these. I haven't cut enough. I'll do that off screen, don't worry. But this is going to be my ladder base frame, made up here, and then this is going to be the front of the face. It'll all make a lot more sense when we come to put all of this together, but for this I'm simply going to use screws and glue for this. Normally I would nail gun it, but because we're doing the tutorial for you guys, I will use the tools that you're likely to have. So let's get this all put together. Okay, so like I said, nice and easy here, just screwed and glued together. I am using 80mm screws for this, just cheap and cheerful ones yet again. Nothing fancy going on here. Now you will see I've got a little jutted out section on the end there, and that is purely because I don't know if my walls are square at this stage, so it's just going to make it easier to scribe rather than trying to scribe the whole section. Now I will take this little section just to say to you guys that if you want to find out how much I charge for this project, then there will be a video going out with this for my members. You can join the membership by hitting the little join button below the like button, and I will be putting out a video with this just on pricing of this and all my other projects. So here we go, just getting them last couple of screws in here. Like I said, nice and simple, no frills with this. And now we're just going to be checking it for square, and we're all good. Right, so we have the base frame or ladder frame made up, and then we've got the front. So if you imagine your feet would sit here on the floor and your bum would be on this section here. Obviously this is only half of it, we've got the other half to go on the other side, and as I stated earlier, these are left a little bit long so I can scribe it in, because the walls are not going to be perfectly straight. So this bit here, down here, will be clad with a piece of MDF to hide all of these screw holes. This base section here will have a skin of MDF over there, just so when you look in the bench seat you've got a nice flat base in there. And then, if I can get it in place, we need to work on this cladding section here now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like a shaker panel on here. Now I will put a link up the top, this corner, or this corner, this one I think, to how to make shaker doors. This is essentially the same thing that I'm going to be doing here. It's just going to have a middle rail in it. So I'm going to get all the section sizes cut up for that, and we can start getting that all put together for that one, and then we'll turn our attention to the top and the back afterwards. So just ripping up a load of sections here. We are going to be doing these 70mm wide. I just find that that looks the nicest aesthetically. You can make them as wide or as narrow as you want, but yeah, 3 inches 70mm is what I tend to go with. And then it's rinse and repeat, much of the same as what we did earlier, just cutting these sections up. Obviously you need to take the width, if you're building it the way that I have done, you're going to take the width of your opening and divide it by 2 if you're going to be making it in 2 sections. If not, you just need to take the width of your opening, and that's what you will cut it to. And then we'll be cutting our uprights much in the same fashion. Measure how high you want it, deduct the 270mm, so 140mm for that, and then cut these to height. So really couldn't be simpler. Okay, and here we are now on the table saw. Now I've got my 6mm grooving blade in here, just so we can groove out to take our middle panel. Yet again, watch that video up in the top left and right hand corner. if you want to know how to make shaker doors, because that's all we're doing here. Okay, so we have got all of our pieces all lined out here. So we've got our panels in the middle. These are our uprights, and these are obviously our cross members. Yet again, I'm making this in 2 sections just for ease of transport and everything like that. Plus, this is 2.6 wide, this bench seat, and MDF only comes in 2.4. Well, it's not strictly true. You can buy it in bigger sizes, but where I get my timber from, I can only get it in 2.4, and I don't think it was worth, you know, buying sections in bigger sizes. So we're going to get this all put together now. I will come back and check in with you guys, because there's a couple little design details in this that aren't going to make sense until I explain them. So I will do that once we're glued up. Let's get that done. So yes, I'm gluing right the way along. I know I'm going to get people in the comments telling me that you shouldn't glue a panel in. This is all made out of MDF. We're not going to get any expansion and contraction with this. If you are doing it out of solid timber, do not glue your panel in, because it will move. But like I said, all out of MDF like I'm doing here, absolutely no problem. Go ham with the glue. It really isn't going to hurt anything at all. So yeah, top section going on here, and now you can see it is essentially a shaker door just turned on its side, really. Really like the style of this. It just looks really nice and clean and timeless. So a couple of clamps, and we're going to be leaving that to set up. I left this to set up for a couple of hours, but you know, if you've got longer, let it set for longer. And here we go, we're just going to be checking for square again, as we did earlier. Make sure everything's nice and square. I was slightly out by about 1 millimetre, but nothing that we couldn't do with just giving it a tap with a mallet. Okay, so that's our panel all glued up, or panels I should say, all glued up. Now I need to explain, we've got that little jutted out bit on one of them, just so when they slide together it looks like one complete panel. It'll make a bit more sense once we get to it. So you can see here I have my lovely drawing next to us, and what we need to do now is we need to create this little section here. So we need to cut out maybe 5, 6 of those, just to give our backrest some angle to sit on. The middle one, however, is going to be this complete section, just purely because I want to divide this into 2, or more, the customer wants me to divide this into 2 sections. So you can open up one and you've got storage in one side and then storage in the other side, rather than one big like cavity, if you like. So the middle one's going to be this whole big section. Yet again, this will make more sense once we start putting it together in the customer's house, but then we need maybe another 4 of these little top bits, just so when you like sit back on it, you've got something to rest again. So let's get them cut out. Sorry guys, I almost forgot to say, this angle here between here and here is 95 degrees. So if you imagine straight up would be 90 degrees off your seat, this is 95, so 5 degrees, 95, whatever way you want to look at it. Just thought that was a bit of important information that needed adding in there. So yeah, 95 degrees there, which is comfortable, I found. Might not be for everyone, but I like it. This is the middle section that I was telling you guys about just a little bit earlier. Now, this is my drawing that I'm cutting up here. And yes, I did later regret doing this, because I did need to redraw it back out. But needless to say, you don't need to worry about that if you're doing it. Just cut out that middle section as I am now, like I said. So that's going to be a full support in the middle, just to take the weight of your bum when it sits on it. And we'll just cut this middle section out here. Now, I don't know what I was thinking with this, trying to do it that way round. Work it out, Lewis, flip it round, that's much easier. There you go. Job's a good one. So there's our middle section, and you can see I've just made a little sled here for the table saw. You don't need to bother with this, to be honest. I just do it for ease of cutting the amount out that I am. Rightio people, so I had recorded putting all of this together, and then somehow I managed to lose all the footage. So you'll just have to pretend that you see me putting these together. But these are them bits that you just see me cutting on the saw. And then what I did was I cut these top pieces, and they're just screwed in, as you can see here. And then I clad it in this like TNG paneling stuff, which is just nailed and glued on. And then these bits that you can see in here are just reinforcements, because these, obviously that isn't one full long panel, so I've had to join them together. So this is just reinforcements in there just to make sure that it doesn't like split apart. So there you go, guys. I am now going to get this all painted up. I'm not going to record painting, so the next part you see is when it goes over to site to be fitted, and then you'll see this whole thing come together. So skip to that. See you there. Okay, and here's site, Lewis. Getting this frame in. So we're going to start off by just connecting these two frames together, just a couple of screws. We ain't got to go mad here, it's sitting on the floor, and then we're using our laser level here just to get everything nice and level. We really want to make sure that this frame is level, because everything we build off obviously comes off of this, and it will determine whether things are square and sitting true on that. So just take a little bit of time, make sure that's all nice and level and flat, most importantly. Now here's that bit of MDF that I was talking to you guys about, just to cover all them screws up and that. And first glimpse of the colour on this. Now I don't know whether you would call that a grey, a blue. I think it's a blue. I am slightly colourblind to blues and greens, so you guys will have to let me know down in the comments. But it's like a grey blue. Framework on the back here. Now this is key, because obviously when you put a couple of people along here, you're going to have quite a bit of weight on there. So nice bit of framework just going right the way around, just to make sure that we can transfer the weight of people going down. And then obviously our front sections going on here are going to be load bearing as well, so plenty of timber in there just to make sure that, you know, all the weight's transferred down to the floor. And the other section going in now, just checking everything's nice and level. Now you can see there's a socket on the wall. I actually go ahead and leave that socket in because it's not hurting anything, and you can open it and do that. And there's our front section. Now you can see that I've put them two together, so I hope that makes sense now, that when that whole panel goes back together, it looks like one cohesive piece. Yeah, again, guys, don't forget, if you want to know how much I charge for this job, go and check out the members only video that will be going up after this. So back section's going on now. Now these are simply glued to the wall and then fixed down to the frame below and attached to that middle piece that's already going up there. And the second one going on. I did glue the whole piece, but I didn't think I'd show you guys that because I thought, you know, might be a bit boring. There we go, just some decorative little capping pieces on the top, just to hide everything up nicely. And then our actual lift up sections going on there now, or hinge sections I should say. Now we're going to touch up the paint, just make sure everything looks nice and pretty. There we go, guys. I am going to close this one here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to my members. You can see them at the bottom of the screen now. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me so you can see more videos like this. We've got some exciting stuff coming up now.